3 signs you are repaying karma, but the more you repay, the more you sow merit and change your destiny. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mind Podcast, Buddhism. There are 3 great sufferings that those who bear heavy karma often endure. Suffering from illness, suffering from poverty, suffering from harm caused by malicious people. The Buddha teaches that everything that happens to you is caused by you. If not in this life, then in countless previous lives. Nothing in the flow of cause and effect is random. Every falling leaf has its reason. Every stumble carries karmic consequence. What we call misfortune is often destiny unfolding. What we call good fortune is virtue blossoming at the right season. People tend to see only the surface of life, glory or suffering, without seeing the true root deep in mind and karma. They complain and give up and think the world is unjust. Yet from the viewpoint of the wise, and especially the Buddha, all is right. All is reasonable. All is cause and effect. A person in suffering does not need theoretical teachings, but a way out. We come to the Buddha's teaching not out of fear, but because of suffering. We study the Buddha not to become holy, but to understand ourselves, to understand why we suffer, why we repeat failures in anger, why relationships break down, and why diseases seem endless. Understanding allows us to cultivate self-compassion, and from that compassion begin the journey of transformation. The Buddha's teaching is not mystical, elaborate, or mysterious. It is simply a mirror for us to see ourselves, to see the karma we have created, to see the path we are on, and to see the way out that we keep circling outside the door. What can we do? First, we recognize our condition, not to blame ourselves, but to free ourselves. Only when we know the root of suffering can we stop blaming life, stop resenting others, and stop tormenting ourselves. Only when we know we are repaying karma can we avoid creating more karma. Next, we cultivate. Practice does not mean going to the temple, but correction. Correct our gaze to be gentle. Correct our speech to be mild. Correct our actions to be upright. Correct our mind to be pure. Live better than yesterday. That is practice of letting go of resentment. That is practice of gratitude, even in hardship. That is practice of apology, even when we are not entirely at fault. That is practice itself. And finally, we generate merit, because merit is the only thing that can rescue us from the cycle of karma. A person with heavy karma will eventually meet a benefactor, find refuge, and discover a way of escape. A person without merit, no matter how intelligent or talented, can still fall into ruin over a small matter. Merit is like an umbrella in the rain. When the rain of karma falls, you remain dry. This article aims to help you understand more deeply cause and effect, karma and retribution, and the signs that you are in the process of repaying karma. Not to make you afraid, but to awaken you. Not to make you despair, but to show you a way forward. Not to make you feel unfortunate, but to help you see that everything is unfolding as it should. Most importantly, it aims to let you know that you can change your destiny starting from this moment. As long as you understand cause, see effect, and resolve to live virtuously, cultivate your mind, and accumulate merit, you need no great deeds. A kind word, a good action, and a benevolent thought are enough to begin the journey of transforming karma. From here, we will delve into the 3 clearest signs that you are repaying karma from many past lives. First, frequent unexplained illness. Second, living in persistent poverty despite great effort. Third, being surrounded by harmful relationships and repeated misfortunes. Each of the following sections will not only help you recognize these signs, but also suggest ways to transform so that from repaying karma you move toward releasing karma, from suffering to awakening, and from fear to aspiration to practice. The one who understands karma has wisdom. The one who endures repaying karma has courage. The one who vows to practice to transcend karma has merit. If you have ever experienced pain, suffering, or helplessness, this article is for you. Please calm your heart and continue the journey of reflection, repayment, and walking lightly on the path of ending affliction and restoring merit. The Buddha teaches that debts from a previous life are repaid in this life. Cause and retribution is an immutable law governing every life. Every action, thought, or word of ours does not end in a fleeting moment. It is a seed sown into the field of karma that follows us through the cycle of rebirth. If in a past life we sowed much unwholesome karma, the results of those actions will gradually manifest in this life. Debts from past lives are repaid now. That is the principle taught by the Buddha, emphasizing that no one can escape retribution. Through the Buddha's teachings, we can identify 3 characteristic signs of those repaying karma in this life, so that we can discover the path of practice to transform harmful karma and attain peace. First sign, frequent unexplained illness. Physical health is the most important foundation. Without a healthy body, all effort and success become meaningless. When we face health problems, feelings of helplessness and uselessness often arise. This not only affects our personal life, but also impacts our relationships. To maintain health, we need a balanced lifestyle, work and rest in harmony, maintain a positive state of mind, follow a balanced diet, exercise regularly, and abandon harmful habits. Reality shows that few can achieve these perfectly. Each person must face health issues to varying degrees, from mild colds to serious diseases. Some people must battle illness for years, while others encounter minor but persistent health problems. This situation causes many to live in anxiety, uncertain whether this is a sign of karmic obstacles accumulated from past lives. In Buddhist doctrine, a person's past actions can greatly influence present life. When we have unintentionally or intentionally harmed other beings, we will face the consequences of those actions, and one of the clearest manifestations is health. Illnesses from mild to severe can be viewed as part of karmic hindrance. People who are frequently angry, argumentative, or hurt others may suffer from both psychological and physical issues. When the mind is filled with anger and resentment, the body reacts negatively. Such individuals are prone to anxiety, depression, or even more serious illnesses. Psychological instability not only affects mental health, but can also impair bodily functions, leading to a variety of ailments. One of the clearest manifestations of the law of cause and effect is through health. If you have harmed others, in this life you may have to pay the price with the illnesses you endure. In fact, many people have sensed the link between their actions and their consequences. They realize that living without moral integrity, neglecting self-care, and failing to love others has created karmic obstacles in their lives. Buddhism emphasizes that karma repays itself when we generate merit for ourselves, and life becomes better as a result. Conversely, if we live selfishly and harm others, we will inevitably face misfortune in our lives. There are countless everyday examples of the connection between karma and health. For instance, a person who constantly seeks to harm others and speaks cruelly will find that not only do they struggle in social relationships, but they also suffer from inexplicable illnesses. These situations often form a vicious cycle. They continue to injure others, and ultimately they themselves must bear the consequences. First, to escape the cycle of karmic obstacles, Buddhism offers many solutions to help us recognize and change our behavior. Spiritual practice, meditation, and doing good deeds not only purify the mind, but also improve physical health. When the mind is at peace, the body naturally adjusts and becomes healthier. Buddhism also teaches that cultivating compassion and loving-kindness helps us reduce past negative karma. When we begin to love and care for others, karmic hindrances are gradually transformed, bringing blessing to ourselves. Frequent illness is a clear sign of those who created much karma in past lives. Health is not merely a physical matter, but also a reflection of the soul and our relationships. When we understand that every action has consequences, we become more mindful of creating positive deeds and minimizing negative karma. Through practice and self-discipline, anyone can change their karmic trajectory and move toward a more peaceful and joyful life. Let us begin with the smallest things. Love and share with those around us, gradually improving our health and our lives. In Buddhist philosophy, lifelong poverty means that each person's life is shaped not only by actions in this life, but also by the karma accumulated in past lives. The Buddha's famous teaching that whether in a past life or this life, as long as one has created karma, one will receive corresponding results, is a profound lesson on cause and effect. If a person has generated too much negative karma, their retribution will increase accordingly. Many individuals and families live in unending poverty. No matter how hard they try, they cannot change their hardship. They often feel trapped in a cycle where every effort seems meaningless. Just when they think they have found light at the end of the tunnel, something happens that brings them back to the starting point. sometimes worse than before. Facing such difficulties is not easy. It takes great effort to keep the mind stable and avoid collapse. You may fall into despair and suffering because of poverty, not knowing when escape is possible. Yet in those moments, reflecting on your own virtues and blessings is essential. Could your current hardships be the result of karmic obstacles you created in the past? Some people do not need extraordinary talent or abundant resources to earn money easily. Their work may seem effortless, yet their results far exceed what others achieve with great effort. What creates this difference? It is not just talent or skill, but the merit they accumulated in the past. While some struggle for every penny, others can reap success with ordinary effort. This clearly demonstrates the operation of the law of cause and effect. Those who live in abundance usually have a strong foundation of merit. This is not random. If you feel you are in a state of poverty, remember that it is not all due to fate or bad luck. The deeper cause may lie in the karmic forces you created in past lives. If you have accumulated too little merit, you will face corresponding difficulties in this life. Although life can be harsh and challenging, what matters is how you perceive those hardships. The suffering you endure can be seen as an opportunity to cultivate and improve yourself. It is not a punishment, but a valuable lesson from life. Those very challenges and hardships teach you profound lessons in perseverance, patience, and compassion. When you fall into difficult circumstances, see it as a time to begin repentance. Repentance is not merely admitting mistakes, but a process of self-examination and transformation. Abandon harmful actions, turn toward good deeds, and practice to accumulate merit for the future. Remember that every hardship can be transformed if you are sincere and persistent. One of the most effective ways to restore blessings in life is to maintain a positive attitude no matter how severe the challenges. Always keep in mind that everything will improve if you hold on to faith and patience. Poverty is not your fate, but merely a temporary phase in your life. Seek out the small joys in each day. Maintaining a positive mindset not only makes you feel happier, but also generates vibrations that attract blessings your way. Spend time on uplifting activities, such as volunteering or helping those around you, and live a life of purpose. These actions will rebuild your store of merit. Although life can be unfair and full of hardships, do not let poverty dominate your existence. Instead, take the initiative to find solutions. There are many ways to improve your financial situation, from learning new skills to exploring potential business opportunities. What matters is that you take action and never stop striving. Remember that successful people always begin with small steps. They never give up, no matter how difficult the circumstances. They seek every opportunity, learn from their failures, and work tirelessly to improve their lives. You can do the same. One of the keys to escaping poverty is planning. Take the time to define your financial goals. How much do you want to earn, and in what time frame? Create a detailed plan and follow it step by step. Do not fear failure, for it offers valuable lessons on the path to success. With a clear plan in hand and committed effort, you will feel more confident. Every small step you take can lead to significant change. Believe that nothing is impossible when you put your heart into your work. Finally, do not overlook the importance of repentance and personal practice. If you have made mistakes in the past, sincerely acknowledge them and seek to make amends. Reflecting on your actions will purify your mind and open the way for blessings to come. Dedicate time to meditation, cultivate compassion, and lend a hand to others. These practices not only enhance your own merit, but also bring joy to those around you. Lifelong poverty is not an unchangeable destiny. No matter how great the challenges you face, remember that everyone has the power to transform their life by becoming aware of their karmic patterns, practicing compassion, and continually striving for self-improvement. You can turn things around and create a better life for yourself. Life is a journey of learning and growth. Meet every challenge with an open heart and a spirit of kindness. You will discover that, even when poverty seems to surround you, perseverance and effort will invite blessings into your life. Rather than dwelling in suffering, view each difficulty as an opportunity to develop yourself and build a fulfilling, joyful existence. One of the most unpleasant experiences many people face is repeatedly encountering harmful individuals. As the old saying goes, everyone emits an energy field. You attract those who resonate with you. This expresses a profound truth about how our thoughts, actions, and attitudes shape the people and circumstances we draw into our lives. When you live with positivity, perform good deeds, and cultivate merit, you attract kind people, constructive relationships, and promising opportunities. On the other hand, if you act selfishly, speak arrogantly, or harbor pride, you create a negative energy field that draws others of a similar nature and invites misfortune. When negative energy dominates your aura, your luck steadily declines. You may encounter insincere friends, manipulative schemers, and a host of unfortunate situations. These experiences not only cause suffering, but also leave you feeling isolated, powerless, and trapped in difficulty. Some people find themselves constantly beset by harmful individuals, caught in a cycle of negative karma. When they are prosperous and happy, these toxic figures appear, yet when they struggle or feel discouraged, no one remains to support them. This sense of abandonment drags them further down, deepening feelings of helplessness and sadness. Faced with such people, you may wonder, why do I find myself in these situations? One undeniable truth is that karmic forces from past lives do not punish the wrong person. If you repeatedly meet harmful individuals, look within yourself. You may have accumulated too little merit in the past to avoid your present difficulties. Recognizing that those around you reflect your own inner state invites an important question. How can you change your circumstances? To transform your situation, you must first alter your own thoughts and actions. The first step in self-change is acknowledging your past mistakes, admitting where you went wrong and how you brought negative karma upon yourself. Then focus on cultivating virtue to shift your energy field. Actively engage in kind deeds, help others, and foster positive relationships. These efforts will generate positive energy that draws good into your life. Change your mindset by seeking lessons and opportunities in every circumstance rather than fixating on difficulties. This not only fosters personal growth, but also attracts like-minded, uplifting individuals. Meditation and inner calm are essential tools for transforming your destiny. Regular practice helps you release negative thoughts, purify your mind, and cultivate peace, making it easier to welcome positive experiences. Surround yourself with positive people whose energy resonates with yours. Such relationships create a supportive network that bolsters your spirit. The Buddha taught that every hardship we endure stems from our past actions and choices. When you encounter harmful people or difficult situations, treat them as opportunities for learning and growth. Practice compassion, forgiveness, and gratitude to overcome adversity. Learn to extend love even to those you regard as enemies. By doing so, you not only transform your own life, but also positively influence the lives of others. Life is a journey filled with challenges and opportunities. When we encounter harmful people, we may feel powerless and disappointed. However, if we learn to view situations from a different perspective, seek underlying causes, and take positive actions, we can transform not only ourselves, but also our surroundings. By accumulating merit, shifting our mindset, and practicing the Buddhist teachings, we can build a better life and attract positive experiences. In the end, life becomes a journey of light and hope rather than one of darkness and suffering. Life is full of lessons, and meeting harmful people is only part of our personal growth. Remember that those we encounter often reflect aspects of ourselves. Therefore, self-reflection and self-improvement are essential steps toward a better life. Even if you live with good intentions, yet still face constant misfortune, you may be repaying past karma. Despite your efforts to treat others kindly and avoid negative habits, adversity keeps coming. You may ask yourself, why do I suffer so much? The truth is you are undergoing penance. Why? Because you have committed wrongs in this life or previous ones. The sins involved are many and varied. Typical examples include theft, murder, genocide of humans or animals, deliberate destruction of temples or shrines, desecration of altars and theft of offerings, blasphemy against divine beings, corruption, betrayal of filial duty, misappropriation of public funds, professional fraud, sexual misconduct, assault, abuse, and exploitation of others. By committing these acts, you generated karmic obstacles. Those debts must be repaid either in this life or in future lives. That is the universal law. No one can escape it. Cause and effect always operate. Once you recognize your past karma, do not lose heart. Instead, resolve to overcome every barrier and hardship. The process of repaying karma is not simple. Do not assume that spiritual practice will immediately erase all negative karma or fulfill every desire. For example, someone who committed multiple murders in a past life may require 2 or 3 subsequent lives to settle that karma fully. Can one avoid the punishment of past deeds? No. When karma arises, it must be repaid. You can only request a postponement, much like asking a creditor to defer payment. That means you agree to settle that debt in later lives rather than in this one. Once granted a deferment of karmic repayment, you must live virtuously to accumulate merit. As merit grows, karma diminishes. By the time the deferment period ends, your karma may be fully settled, requiring no further repayment. That is the benefit of postponing karma. However, if you commit new wrongs during this period, your situation worsens. Your spirit risks deeper suffering, and you begin a new life of distress. After death, your soul descends further into hell. Therefore, even when deferring karmic repayment, exercise great caution. Human life exists for learning and evolution. Consider each lifetime a classroom. We may choose to study one or many subjects, but we must complete those lessons to advance to higher realms, such as the heavenly realms. Failure to learn fully leaves us in the human realm or leads to lower realms, those of Asuras, animals, hungry ghosts, or hell. Marriage is not meant to satisfy lust or fill loneliness, but to learn love and harmonious coexistence. Parenthood is not simply about support in old age, but about learning to be a father or mother, nurturing, guiding, and helping one's children. Leadership roles, such as king or president, are not for exploiting the populace, but for learning to care for people and govern with compassion. Medical professions are not paths to wealth or fame, but opportunities to learn how to help and care for patients. Therefore, we must begin spiritual practice now to transform suffering and pain into peace and joy. Practice means correcting faults to become good, remedying mistakes to be right, and turning ignorance into enlightenment. Yet, grievances born of past connections must be resolved by cultivating positive connections ourselves. Seeking refuge in the Buddha provides support. The teachings point the way, but the Buddha does not directly dissolve hatred. He shows the best path for enmity to dissipate. If one's mind remains impure and one continues wrongful actions, no amount of sutra recitation or worship will lead to liberation. When will one enjoy the fruits of a virtuous life? Buddhism always emphasizes cause and effect as the root of all doctrine. Yet many wonder when they will experience the results of their merit. To answer this question, we turn to the Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva's original vow sutra. This sutra, the prayer of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, regarded as the earth deity, guides disciples toward genuine practice and shields beings from suffering and malevolent forces. It repeatedly affirms, good people receive good results and bad people receive bad results, consistent with Buddhist principles. Today we see that those of great wealth and high status often renounced evil and cultivated virtue in past lives, thereby receiving blessings now. A person enjoying merit who continues to practice humility and goodness will maintain those blessings. If they become complacent and foolish, they lose their merit, accumulate new negative karma, and suffer consequences later. Buddhism consistently warns to remain vigilant. Only merit that is continually renewed endures. If one sows negative karma, one's merit ends and retribution follows. Those who cultivated virtue in past lives but sow evil in this life will, once their merit is exhausted, face punishment again. The Buddha often taught, in the first life one cultivates merit. In the second life one enjoys merit. In the third life one falls. If one enjoys merit without knowing how to cultivate more, that merit will not endure. To enjoy merit at any time, one must be free of delusion. At the very least, the attainment of arhatship allows one to enjoy merit. Bodhisattvas enjoy great merit and may progress to the Pure Land. The best time to enjoy merit is while continuing to create merit, for that merit is lasting, strong, and inexhaustible. Merit arises when conditions are ripe. It is not defined by wealth, grand homes, or status. Peace, health, and happiness are also merit. True merit is freedom from delusion and the ongoing generation of new merit. In that state, one both enjoys blessings and builds a positive foundation for all lifetimes to come. Finally, dear Dharma practitioners, we need to understand that however much karma we sowed in past lives, this life still offers us the opportunity to recognize and transform its signs. Poor health, poverty, and encounters with harmful people are not immutable punishments, but lessons and chances for awareness and improvement. We cannot evade the karma we have sown, but we can choose to transform it. We can not only improve our present life, but also build a better, sustainable future. As the Buddha taught, blessings are not easy to obtain, but when the karmic conditions are ripe, they will arrive naturally and endlessly. Therefore, never forget that spiritual practice is a long journey requiring patience, sincerity, and the continual accumulation of merit. When blessings come, we should not only enjoy them, but also share them, so that their beneficial influence spreads, bringing peace to ourselves and those around us. Live each day with a benevolent heart, caring for yourself and those around you with compassion, step by step transforming karmic obstacles, accumulating blessings, and living a peaceful life as the Buddha taught. There are pains in life that no one knows, seasons of hardship you have endured without witness, and nights spent in darkness with tears dried, yet the heart still unsettled. No one tells you how strong you have been, how resilient, when you began to change, or that you have already passed through your darkest period. But one miracle always occurs. When a person endures long enough, practices deep patience, and preserves a bit of goodness even when nothing remains, fortune begins to turn. Blessings start to blossom, and a silent ray of light arrives like a gift reserved for those who refuse to give up. You don't need divination, palm reading, or anyone to tell you that wealth or luck is imminent. If you pay attention, you will notice subtle yet genuine signs. They are not loud, yet they save you. They are not flashy, yet they herald new opportunity. These signs are not in your bank balance, grand house, or luxurious car, but in seemingly ordinary things. A deep sleep after many sleepless nights, a day without blaming anyone, quietly accepting a kind act you performed unconditionally, a sense of sufficiency when you have nothing special in hand. These are the silent signals that blessings send you like a gentle knock. If you have endured enough, now is the time for the light to return. Now, if you have quieted yourself enough to listen to your inner voice, I invite you to explore the 7 signs with me, where we will examine each step of transformation, each indicator of blossoming blessings, each silent signpost that shows you have passed the difficult phase and that prosperity is returning. Sign 1. Your mind no longer panics when you lose money but stays calm in seeking ways to rebuild. A person beginning to prosper is not someone who becomes rich overnight, but someone who no longer fears having nothing at all. There are days when you wake and only want to close your eyes again because your account is empty, a contract has fallen through, a debt remains unpaid, or a dream dissolves like foam. Losing money is one of the greatest shocks to the human heart. It does more than take away assets. It strikes at one's confidence, self-respect, sense of security, and positive outlook. For many, it is a catastrophe. For others, it is a new beginning. The question is, which type are you after loss? If in the past you would have cried, raged, given up, and looked for someone to blame, but now you fall silent, take a deep breath, and begin to consider the next step, then congratulations. That is not only maturity, it is the first sign of rising prosperity. You may think that only when you have plenty of money will you feel secure and not fear loss. But the truth is that only when you no longer fear losing money will you find inner peace. A peaceful mind leads to clear insight. Clear insight leads to wise action. Wise action leads to different results. That is the operating chain of truly wealthy individuals. Those with a poor mindset will be fearful even if they win the lottery. So when you no longer panic at loss, you are crossing a new threshold, the threshold of inner strength. And inner strength is the foundation for lasting wealth. When we lose money and our minds waver excessively, it leads to insomnia and physical exhaustion. Loss of confidence leads to disconnection, missed opportunities, lack of clarity, and poor decisions. Deeper still, panic has never helped anyone escape suffering. A person drowning who thrashes about only sinks faster. Only when you relax, calm yourself, and rise can you see the shore. A clear sign of changing fortune is when you can maintain your composure amid storms, transform loss into lessons, and believe that anything can be rebuilt from scratch. Like a farmer, if one crop fails, they do not abandon the field. They wait for the right season, select new seeds, tend the soil, and await the next harvest. Those who prosper do the same. They do not fear having nothing, only fear an empty heart. There was a woman who sold sticky rice at a bus station. On the eve of Tet, her capital was stolen. Instead of sitting and crying, she quietly cleaned up and asked to work as an assistant at a nearby eatery. Almost half a year later, she reopened her sticky rice stall, which attracted even more customers than before. When asked, "Aren't you afraid of losing everything again?" she replied, "Even if I lose it again, it doesn't matter. But if I sit here and be afraid, then I lose everything." Such a person not prospering would be surprising, because they possess the most important capital, courage after loss. If you have recently faced loss but no longer tremble, if you encounter obstacles yet your mind still seeks how to press on, if you look back and see you are no longer the same, then your fortune has shifted. Money may not have returned yet, but your mentality has changed, and that mentality is what attracts lasting prosperity. Do not expect wealth while fear still resides in your heart. Wealth only resides where the mind is peaceful, insight is clear, and resolve is firm. When you no longer tremble in adversity, you have laid the foundation for growth. Becoming prosperous is not an overnight event, but the result of daily persistence. Sign 2. You begin to encounter positive people again. Benefactors appear when you shift your heart's vibration. The people who come into your life also change. Do not rejoice hastily when money arrives. Rejoice when good people enter your life, for that is a sign you are on the right path. Life is a series of energy collisions. Some people come into our lives and leave us feeling burdened and weary. Others simply sit quietly beside us and lighten our hearts with peace. Do not underestimate whom you meet, for they reflect your own state of mind. If in the past you only met gossipers, selfish people, and schemers, it may be because you were drawn to those energies then. But if lately you have encountered kind people in remarkable ways, those who help you unconditionally, speak words that bring clarity and relief, then your fortune is indeed changing. Someone once said, "I never meet benefactors." But, my friend, benefactors do not come to those who live by negative energy. They are beings of high vibration, like light. You cannot see them after night if your heart is still full of dust and darkness. Therefore, when you begin to let go of resentment, you will meet those who truly listen. When you cease jealousy, you will meet those who truly share. When you sincerely help others, you will meet those who stand ready to support you. It is not that they have just appeared, but that your transformed heart can now perceive them. He was a poor electrician whose motorbike was old, rattling loudly and stalling in the middle of the road as a matter of course. One rainy day, his bike died, and he sat waiting. No anger, only a calm breath. An old man passing by stopped and asked, "Need help, son?" 10 minutes later, the engine roared back to life. The old man refused payment and said only, "Those who know how to endure are worth helping." From that day on, they became friends. The old man turned out to be the owner of a large repair shop. He hired the young mechanic, taught him everything, and changed his life, not by luck, but because patience had sown the seed for a benefactor to appear. Do you recognize this? When you're happy, you want to be near positive people. When you're sad, you seek fellow sufferers to commiserate. This is the law of the mind. You attract people who match your inner level. So if lately you've noticed fewer dramas in your life, if you've had the chance to meet kind people, been invited to meaningful projects, or received perfectly timed advice, rejoice. This is a new wave carrying you toward the light. Benefactors do not come to those who only wish for help. They come to those with a generous heart who ask for nothing in return. If you've shed selfishness, opened your heart even when others don't understand you, spoken kind words without praise, or silently helped others without recognition, then you have become a benefactor yourself, and you are also opening the door for your own benefactors. People often pray to meet benefactors, but few are willing to become one first. Live like a small lamp. warm and bright. And you will see that a true benefactor is not one who brings money, but one who restores your lost faith, reignites your hope, and shows you the path you had forgotten. Sign 3. Everything, though small, flows smoothly. Your fortune is shifting. When even a single leaf drifts gently to exactly the right spot, trust that the wind is blowing in your favor. Have you ever felt this? Simple things, a clear road without traffic, finding parking with ease, an appointment that starts on time, a conversation that runs smoothly, a task you expected to take ages finishing in moments, a dropped ceramic cup that doesn't shatter, an incoming call just as you were about to dial. These may seem random, but when they happen repeatedly, they signal a turning of your luck. Luck isn't a deity or a star falling in your favor. It's the harmony between your mind and your circumstances. Notice that when you're joyful, people smile at you. When you're weary, you sense others' irritations. When you're in balance, you attract ease. Luck doesn't arrive with fireworks, but whispers like a soft breeze. Luck isn't for complacency. It's for deeper transformation. Don't abandon effort just because things feel easy. The wise continue to sow goodness to extend the favorable current, turning a few smooth days into a lasting era of peace. Don't wait for grand events. Learn to recognize the subtle signs, for they are the true, enduring roots: a timely apology, a gentle glance, a dreamless sleep, a glass of water without asking, a meal unhurried. When you recognize that all of this is enough, your fortune has already shifted. When the first small wave quiets, don't wait for the ocean to calm to call it peace. If you notice life beginning to flow, small things falling into place, congratulations. You are entering the current of blessed fortune. Don't worry if you're not yet wealthy. Don't fear if you aren't yet prominent, for the ease in every small detail is the invisible hand lifting you from hardship. Sign 4. You are more grateful and less resentful. This is merit sprouting. Gratitude doesn't make you rich overnight, but it makes you truly wealthy, for the grateful have wisdom enough to see that nothing in life is random. Have you ever been trapped in this cycle? Blaming your parents for not giving you a better life, blaming an ex for leaving you, blaming friends for not understanding you, blaming society for injustice, even blaming yourself for not being good enough. Resentment, reasonable or not, is a double-edged sword. One edge pushes others away, the other wounds your own soul daily. Those who resent are like sours on rocky ground. Before seeds can sprout, stones bury them. The grateful are like planters on soft soil. Rain and sun alike nourish them. An old woman once replied, "Because I still have eyes to see the sun, hands to pick greens, and a roof to return to. Why not smile?" One day, a passerby saw her carrying her basket, bought her produce, and that person turned out to own an organic farm. A few months later, she became a regular supplier, thanks to a smile without complaint. No one knew she had lost everything, but gratitude kept her afloat in life's stream. Don't wait for everything to go right before you feel grateful. Gratitude is a way of life, not a reaction to circumstances. When you stop seeing yourself as a victim, you see pain as a lesson and loss as a chance for a fresh start. Those who leave may actually help you break free from old patterns, and even yourself, stronger than anyone expected. True gratitude doesn't wait for life to improve. It simply makes you better, so you can live gratefully no matter what. The sign that your merit is sprouting. You begin to silently thank the small things: a glass of water, a caring question, a rainless day. You blame others less, even when they misunderstand you. You look back on the past without anger. You thank adversity for making you stronger. You don't demand much from others, but appreciate what they do for you. You feel enough, not because you have much, but because your heart is no longer empty. If you have these signs, merit is already blossoming in your heart. In the Buddhist time, a young novice was assigned to carry water from the stream to the temple each day. The journey was long, the bucket heavy, the sun scorching. He often thought, "Why only I must do this?" One day he slipped and spilled it all, exhausted, angry, resentful. Yet upon returning to the temple, an elderly monk greeted him, saying, "I carried water for 10 years, not to drink, but to learn what patience tastes like." From that day on, the boy no longer carried water, he carried gratitude. Each step became a word of thanks for the training, not a complaint about the chore. Years later, he became a renowned monk with unwavering practice. It all began by changing his mind when facing the smallest injustice. Those who practice gratitude easily encounter benefactors, endure fewer prolonged trials, and naturally attract goodness because they radiate a warm energy. You cannot draw in light when your heart is full of darkness, yet a single thought of gratitude can set light in motion. Do not fear being taken advantage of or appearing naive, and do not let a harsh world extinguish your warm heart. Gratitude is the seed of every blessing. It needs no public recognition, no repayment. Live in silent gratitude, and the universe will write it into your record of merit. Blessings do not grow on trees. They sprout from a grateful heart. When you stop blaming life, you open the first door to changing your fate. Give thanks for your tears and bow before your wounds, for they have transformed you from who you once were. One who can be grateful even for the unwanted is one the universe will never forget. Sign 5. Your affinity with kindness. Money does not seek the greedy but seeks the sincere. A person who sows good seeds without expecting anything in return will still reap a bountiful harvest. Many think, once I am well off, I will help others. Once my suffering ends, I'll do good deeds. But that is a profound misconception. Good deeds require only sincerity, not abundance. A cool drink offered to a stranger, a smile to someone exhausted, a timely word of encouragement. These acts are small, but open a great current of blessings. A poor sticky rice vendor set aside one meal every morning. If a beggar or a child appeared, she gave it. Some days no one came. Other days 2 people did, yet she still shared. Neighbors asked, "Are you crazy? You can't even take care of yourself." She smiled. "I give not because I have plenty, but to remind myself that I still have enough to give." A year later, the shop across from her rented her stall at double the price. When she asked why, the owner said, "I was the child you fed. Now that I have the chance, I want to repay a kindness that never fades. It only takes a circuitous route to return when you need it most." When good deeds begin to find you, that is a sign your fortune is shifting. You once closed yourself off, afraid of being exploited, turning away when help was requested for fear of trouble or deceit. But now you feel others suffering, are moved by their situations, and want to help, however small and unseen. Opportunities to do good find you unbidden, because your energy field has transformed. A young man, long unemployed, once helped an elderly stranger whose motorbike broke down. He led the bike into the shade, bought the man water, and waited. A few days later, he received an interview invitation. At the company, he discovered the recruiter was the stranger's son. Goodness has eyes. It remembers, it guides, and it connects you to unexpected opportunities. You may not know when you will need help, but in hardship someone will arrive, a door will open, a light will shine. Some call it luck, but it is the fruit of good karma. Every act of forgiveness, every kind word instead of gossip, every hand held when someone despairs, every gift given without expectation, all are recorded in the treasury of your virtue. When you need it most, those merits will bear fruit without your asking. If you no longer hesitate to help, feel peace after doing good, tear up at stories of kindness, are drawn to work that benefits others, love to share even a word or phrase, and notice life feels easier, then blessings are quietly warming your every breath. Wealth is an energy flow. Hoard it, and it stagnates. Give it wisely, and it circulates, returning to you even more. Those who live virtuously find money drawn to them, because wealth needs a heart that knows how to hold, share, and be grateful. When your hand reaches out to help, the universe sees your generosity and opens a way for abundance to return. Sign 6. Deep sleep, calm mind, light heart. When you can sleep peacefully at night, it is more than rest, it is a blessing. When your mind no longer storms, countless fortunes will find you. Have you endured endless sleepless nights, your body healthy but mind racing, heart pounding, spirit unsettled, eyes closed but thoughts still active? That is the clearest sign of someone caught in anxiety, pain, and fear. And so, when you return to deep sleep, without medication, without hours of meditation, without someone coaxing you, that is a sign your inner strength is returning. Your mind is no longer fighting itself. Mr. Hong was once a sales director. After a betrayal, he lost his money, reputation, friends, his wife divorced him, and for months he wandered rented rooms, sleepless. He even contemplated ending his life. Yet one stormy night, huddled in his empty room listening to the rain, he felt his heart soften. No anger, no regret, just relief. That night, for the first time in nearly a year, he slept soundly. The next morning he smiled, not because someone saved him, but because his mind no longer struggled against living. From then on, he rebuilt slowly, without resentment, and everything flowed smoothly. They say, if you cannot sleep, you cannot be healthy. If you are not at peace, you cannot be happy. Indeed, no one is fortunate while carrying a heavy heart. No one prospers long when their mind is unsettled. Conversely, a stable inner mind, like fertile soil, invites fortune, opportunity, benefactors, and abundance to settle. Sign 7. Inner recovery. You no longer stay up late with idle thoughts and begin waking early without fatigue. You do not need to complain, yet you feel light. You react less and observe more. You see, you do not need to prove anything. You can smile even when nothing remarkable has happened. When these things occur, know you are gathering deep energy within, and your outer life is about to change. A man once came to a monastery and told the abbot, "I cannot sleep. I feel tense, afraid, and have lost all sense of safety." The abbot simply smiled and said, "You are not unsafe. You are only clinging to what is no longer there." Then the master handed him a bowl of water and said, "Hold it without spilling." The man grasped it with trembling hands. The master lightly tipped the bowl, spilling water across the table. "See," he said, "when the mind is afraid, even a gentle breeze can make us unsteady." Finally, dear practitioners, 3 days later he slept soundly, not because the abbot gave him medicine, but because he had released the burdens that weighed heavily on his heart. Many people take sleep for granted, yet one who can sleep peacefully without restless dreams, tossing and turning, or tears in the night truly possesses merit, a wholesome heart, and the blessings that remain. If you now sleep well each night, do not regard it as ordinary. Give thanks and protect your mind by living virtuously every day. A person of serene mind does not rush into conversation, does no harm, and is not easily triggered by gossip. They know when to remain silent, when to step away for purity, and when to pause to keep themselves untainted. All of these qualities form the unostentatious character of one whose fortune is quietly shifting and bearing fruit. When you no longer need anyone to soothe you before sleep, when you no longer depend on external events to find peace, when you can quietly close your eyes and smile, then congratulations, you carry invisible blessings. Fortune arises not from outside but from deep sleep, a long exhale, a gentle gaze. Those who possess this have sown enough and begun to receive. Feeling content before wealth arrives means that you first feel enough. Only then can you have more. It does not begin with a full purse, but with a heart that is no longer empty. Some have abundant money, many vehicles, great fame, yet inside they feel poor, lacking peace, genuine affection, a tranquil sleep, a free heart unbound by envy. They are rich outwardly but impoverished within. Conversely, some have nothing remarkable, modest income, ordinary homes, simple lives. Yet they smile, live in peace, pursue no one. Strangely, fortune, wealth, and benefactors come to them, because they are ready to receive not with their hands but with their hearts. The sutra teaches, one who knows contentment will be at peace even if lying on the ground. To know contentment is not to give up, but to cease tormenting oneself, to recognize that one already has. Many seek to be more than others when they need only be better than themselves of yesterday. You can live peacefully without praise and find joy without needing many reasons. In that state, you become the most fertile ground for prosperity to dwell, because wealth prefers not to be forced. Signs you have enough. You no longer compare your life to others. You rejoice over a simple meal without feeling lack. You are grateful to still have tasks to do and people to love. You no longer need to prove anything on social media. You smile at others' boasts without a ripple of envy. In living, you feel truly alive rather than chasing mere existence. If now you have little money but your heart feels full, you are richer than millions who lie awake worrying about wealth. If you can smile each day without praise or gifts, You dwell in the aura of blessings. When your heart is full, money comes to fill material needs, not too soon nor too late, but at the right time, and you no longer need it to prove your worth amid life storms. There are silent signs that rescue the one you cherish. If you have listened to every chapter of this journey, take a moment to place your hand on your chest and listen to yourself. You once panicked at total loss, struggled through nights alone, fell to the depths of despair, and saw only darkness and confusion. Now, without anyone else knowing, without boasting, you alone know that you are different from before. You no longer scream at loss. You no longer resent failure. You no longer keep score. You no longer fear abandonment. You can walk alone without loneliness, sit through the night without emptiness. You begin to feel gratitude, begin to help others, begin to encounter blessings you never asked for. You sleep deeply. Your mind is light. Your heart at peace. You feel enough from the outset. That is not random. It is a sign that your heart has transformed, and as your mind shifts, so does your fortune. You need not wait until the bank overflows, the house overflows with possessions, or the car overflows with features. Only let your heart overflow with light. Only let yourself see that life remains worth living, that hope remains, that there are still things to love, to laugh about, and to cherish. That is enough. The Buddha did not promise that those who practice would never suffer, but he taught how to avoid constant suffering by clinging less, longing less, not chasing, not resisting. Each sign you have just read marks each step you have taken out of your old frequency, each step moving you toward the realm of those with inner strength, with blessings, with real opportunities to live a stable and prosperous life. Remember this: blessings do not come with fanfare. They arrive with the silent footsteps you have taken when no one saw, but still you did not abandon your kindness. True prosperity remains only with those who know gratitude, who know how to live, and who know contentment. If you are on this journey, congratulations. You need not wait until you have everything. You only need to recognize that you are returning to yourself. That is the most beautiful sign of fortune about to bloom. Thank you for walking this path. May your heart always be at peace, ever radiant, and may each day be like a lotus blooming in life's pond of many waves.